Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 19 of Commander the Great War. This is Louis, and I'm recording this audio after the fact because when I was playing through this game, there was a lot of noise and it sounded horrible. So we're just going to try it this way, and hopefully this won't be too bad, although I'm going to see if I can keep doing this voiceover and enlarge the screen at the same time. I don't know if I can. Okay, I found out I can't do that. So I'm going to have to just look at the little tiny screen here in my Corel Video Studio X8 and talk about this. For those of you, if you're new to this replay series, I just got my butt totally kicked by the AI. It was only the second time I had played the Central Powers. I played the first time on the easy setting and I kicked their butt. And now it's booty kicking time the other direction. So it's 1916. And basically the war's over. So I took the suggestion of one of my viewers and I thought, why not? So basically we're pulling back and we're going to try to set up a Festung, a fortress around Berlin, and fight it out there. Austro-Hungary is pretty much out of the war. Vienna is being held. Other than that, it's it's pretty much hopeless. The Western Allies have broken through. They've actually connected with the Russians, a la World War II. And so now you see me moving my troops around here to try and surround Berlin with the strongest troops that I can. I've got some corps in there, and I'm going to move them out and put armies up, get them entrenched and ready to go. I've also got a couple of garrison units that are still in cities for no other reason than just to slow down the Western Allies a little bit, like to do little speed bumps. Down here in the Middle East, the Turks are actually doing amazingly well. The Brits actually broke out of the Sinai, pushed up towards Jerusalem. I thought, it was all over because once they get out there, they can outflank you. But then they mysteriously pulled back, and apparently, let's see. By the way, that was I think my submarine they just killed there. Apparently, the UK's pulled a lot of troops out of the Middle East, which really surprised me because they had me on the ropes as the Turks. So the Turks are doing pretty well down in the Middle East, and they're actually not doing too terribly bad against the Russians in the Caucasus. And that's about the only bright spot for the Central Powers, or as you might say, the Central non-powered or something, because, wow. It's all over, and we're just having fun here in the last few turns because, hey, why not, right? So it's a game after all, people. So that was sort of the goal that I've set. And I have noticed that since I've been doing this, the AI is slowing down. And I don't know if that's my computer that's running a little slow or if the AI is just trying to figure out what the heck to do, since this is not normally, of course, how the thing should go. The Western Allies shouldn't be this deep in Germany, and the Russians should be just about ready to surrender, if not surrendered already. Obviously, that's not happening, and they are now pushing to Oder. So it's kind of like watching World War II, sort of, the end of the European War. It's just that everybody is moving in slow motion, like they've all taken settings or something. I don't know. But it's going to be fun, I hope, and that's really what I want to do. As you can see, the Russians down. They're going to take that, and then they'll just continue to move. So that's basically the overview, the big overview of all this. Except for the Turks down in the Middle East and a little bit with the Russians in the Caucasus, I'm purely defensive. At some point, I probably will do some counterattacks with the Germans in around Festung when I really need to, but only as a last resort because. It's kind of basically what I'm trying to do is just see how long can I hold it up. That's the only question. Oh, and I'm still holding on to Königsberg. And we'll probably, as you'll see in a minute, but I'll probably continue to hold it for reasons that will become clear, I think, shortly. Still see the Serbs and other units are maneuvering now. They've totally surrounded Vienna. So begin to besiege that, and when that goes, I'm assuming that will the Austro-Hungarian Empire will surrender. I'm actually surprised that I didn't know playing that side if it would automatically surrender at some point, or if something would pop up and ask me if I want to surrender, but nothing did, and I don't, so it's down to the bitter end as the Super Serb, as I call them, because the Serbian army is unbelievable. You'll notice I've captured one town down there in the Caucasus, pushed the Russians back a little bit. They are also pushing back against me. It's a little bit of back and forth, a little bit of fighting there. In fact, that guy that just came up and whacked me. So the Russians, of course, have plenty of troops. They always do, and in this case, since they're doing so darn well, they're probably just cranking them out like crazy. And the Western Allies are also moving up. Lots of French troops. The French army is huge, and it's coming on strong. The UK troops, as I've mentioned, mostly seem to be in the Middle East, and I'm not sure really exactly where they're going to go. So I guess we'll just wait and see. I'm sure the AI has some kind of evil plan. Speaking of the Brits, there they go. They're moving their convoy around. And yeah, I have a wounded commander. Gee, big surprise there. And so you'll notice I'm going to come back down here, and there's my supply ship, which might get through and help me out a little bit. And there's Königsberg, BC. Took a shot at the Russians, didn't really do much to them, but what the heck, right? So my turns, obviously, at this point in the game, are pretty short because I don't really have much for production here. I'm checking the leadership and just to see how long before I get a few reinforcements before those totally run out, and it's just a matter of them beating me to death. Yeah, the Austrians are pretty well done. The Turks, they don't have much going on either. The Germans, I managed to get a few troops set up, and they'll be coming on soon to help fill in Festung Berlin. But beyond that, the idea of research and things like that at this point, yeah, it's a little late in the game to be doing much of that. I've clearly lost. So the question isn't, will I lose? The question is, how soon will I lose? That's pretty much the only question. But hey, we want to make a game of it because that's why we play these things. At least I hope that's why we play them. I do like the more historical games. I like the games to flow in ways that are either historical or realistic alternatives to history. And of course, that's an old argument in wargaming. Just how much leeway should they give you as the player? And I like to be able to explore real possibilities. Like, for example, if you're going to have a game on the invasion of Sicily, I want to be able to yeah, I think I'm looking to see what I can do here to reinforce stuff. But I want to be able to try out Patton's plan versus the historical Monty plan. And I'd also think it would be interesting if you could try out what a lot of people have talked about is why didn't they invade down, not at Messina, but nearer to Messina, cut off that narrow part of the island, and then there you go. Is it possible there were no harbors down there, so supplying your troops would have been difficult, and sending ships into that little strait there might have been suicidal. The Navy clearly thought it was. But is that true? That's the kind of stuff I like to be able to test out. Now here you see me. I'm looking around to go ahead and take a few more troops out here to disband them so that maybe I will have more strength to reinforce the Turkish troops or maybe build new ones because I could use some new ones, even though I know, I'm losing, but what the heck. So that's why I was doing that. You can see that the British unit in Gaza is really strong and dug in. I've managed to push back and destroy a whole bunch of units of the Brits. They've got some of their air units now in the front line, which is, not really a good sign. When you're to that point. And here's a Turkish ship. I'm going to bring it down. And see if we can do a little damage there. Yeah, nailed that guy. And also, he might be able to spy a little bit for us and see what else the British have behind the lines, because I've got like no air power anymore. That's all gone. So in terms of recon, I've got, just what you can sort of see right on the front line, as you can see here. And that's it. Now, there's the reason I'm probably staying in Königsberg. A little sub popped up, a little French submarine, and whacked my battleship. So trying to get a troop carrier out of there and back. I was toying with the idea, but I think at this point I probably won't. I could just disband him, but I don't know. Why not stay there? I mean, if the Russians aren't going to fight for it, I can go ahead and just leave them there and soak up 3 or 4 units. So what the heck? I think I'll probably just go ahead and do that just for kicks. Don't know that it'll make any difference whatsoever. Probably won't. But what the heck? I do hope, by the way, to get back. Those of you that are watching this, if you've been watching the Battle Academy series I've got going now, I'm doing the Russian side of the Kursk campaign, which was just released for Battle Academy. I love that series. So far, I'm doing well in that series, unlike this one where I'm getting my butt kicked. I've actually won all the scenarios so far. Hopefully, I will continue to do that, because at the end of the Russian Kursk campaign, you get Provokia, and how do you say the name of that? The big, largest tank battle in history. And I definitely want to see what they've done with that. I would love to be able to play that from the German side as well, but I don't think you get to do that. But anyway, we'll find out. So I do want to get back to that pretty quickly, because I'm enjoying that and having a lot of fun with that as well. So stay tuned. And of course, further down the road, and I have no idea how far because there have been no announcements, but I'm a huge Strategic Command fan. I played all the different versions of SC from SC1. I came into SC1 really late, and then SC2, and then all the variations of that, and Global and all that. And now, of course, Hubert's come to Matrix, and he's working on SC3. And I'm really excited about that. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure that I may actually sign up and see if they'll let me playtest. I playtested other versions of SC, so I'm familiar with the system. It doesn't make me a great player necessarily, but I have done playtesting for them, and I'd like to do it again, if for no other reason than just to see what the heck's going on with it. And when it comes out, I'll definitely do that. I'm kind of hoping that they'll actually come out with some short scenarios with it, because I'd like the first video playthrough, if you could do a shorter scenario, just to sort of see what's going on, get used to the gameplay, rather than trying to do the whole campaign, because if you're, these 1939 to 1945 campaigns, they can take a while. So, but I don't know what they've got planned at all at this point, so who knows. So those are some of my future plans for the gaming. As a longtime war gamer, and as a brand new, put videos up on YouTube and show people just how badly you really play. I am enjoying it, and I'm having fun. It's a kind of a new wrinkle to it. I don't have very many viewers yet. Hopefully that will change, but whether it does or not, if I'm enjoying it, that's really what counts. You'll notice the Russians just took out one of my boys, but I left him exposed there because I knew he was there. Here we go. They got some artillery, they got some air power, pounding away on the final stronghold of the Austrians. Down here, the Western Allies now are finally starting to move and hit some things down in the central part of Germany, which they really hadn't done. I was surprised. I thought when they captured the Ruhr and stuff that they would be moving straight up, but they didn't. So apparently it looks like they're going to try to do sort of a left hook there, maybe drive straight across to the Baltic, or they might just take that and just go straight for Berlin and not worry about the rest of it. Because you get Berlin, you pretty much get everything else, right? So that's interesting to watch how the AI plays this out. You have a tendency, they're shifting troops around here, around. They got plenty of fresh guys they're going to bring up, continue to pound on this guy. Being a capital city, of course, he's going to stay in supply. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how long he will last. There is a general in there with him. So it's down to the bitter end for these guys. But back to the AI thing. It's always interesting to watch AIs play games because obviously they don't approach them in any way like we do as human beings. You tend to personalize the AI when you play against it, but we tend to do that anyway. We're always taking it on. And you can see the Russians here are pounding away at my little captured city, like that's going to hurt them to let me have one lousy city. But clearly the AI is not a human, and it's doing what it's doing from a completely different perspective. And yet, along with the cheats that it's given, like be able to produce more units or whatever is built into the system, it does a pretty good job sometimes. Witness my current predicament here, 1916. And the First World War is, for all intents and purposes, over. If this had happened, if anything like this had happened in real life, of course. Oh, and here come the Romanians. Yeah, that's what we need, is more people fighting against us. Yeah, that's really good news. Meanwhile, the chicken Bulgarians, they're sitting it out. If they had come in, they could have helped us knock the Serbs out and things would have been different. But no. So, why not? The more the merrier, right? Here I am, deciding how to position my next little batch of troops. Could be the last, what I've got produced, cooking now may be the very last ones I get. I don't know. Who knows? But, yeah, I moved him along there because I kind of want to see if I can hold that river line just a little bit to slow the Allies down before falling back around Festung Berlin. But I don't know. I can always change my mind. But it wouldn't hurt to get a little help. And I strengthened that guy there just for the same reason. You might think, well, you're wasting, points there, and that's true. But if I can slow him down a little bit, that's good. I'll take it, because that's really all I'm doing here is playing for time. This is not a question of win or lose. It's just a question of how soon, right? So that's what I'm thinking. And yeah, here we are back in the Caucasus, giving some reinforcements. You can see I don't have a lot. The Turks don't have much. But thanks to the troops that I disbanded, I did have a little. Let's see if I can hit any of these guys. So we'll just see what's going on. Meanwhile, and so I decided to go ahead and move down there because maybe that will knock the guy in Gaza out of supply. He's got a port, but I don't know if that's enough because I do believe sometimes you have to have a ship in the port, unless it's maybe it's a home port, because Königsberg doesn't have a ship and it's in supply. So I don't know. I'll find out. Don't know if you noticed there, I forgot when I just used my battleship there. I forgot about the sub, so I didn't move it. So, that's probably not the smartest thing I've ever done either. And here I am, just checking a little bit right before we close this one up. Hope to be back soon with another episode here, and we'll just see how far the AI can go and how long I can hold out. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.